Hello, 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 and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the Kottio Lounge Lecture Series. I'm your host, Michael Rice. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope you all are having a terrific Thursday. I hope you had a wonderful Wednesday as well, and I hope you guys are headed into an awesome weekend. Today, we are going to talk about the Kottio Overview. And I want to apologize in advance for the longer lecture here. And I want to contextualize exactly what this is going to be before we get entirely into it. So, step number one here is that this lecture is going to go over the way that Kottio in general works. So, if you're looking for specific updates about tiny things, this is not the right lecture. Scroll through the recorded lecture channel and you'll find other things. But this lecture is going to talk about the big scope of this business. We're going to talk about how Kottio as a business operates, and we're going to show you guys not only how you can use this to make money, but also how Kottio, our business, makes money. I think that having transparency around this will allow you guys to just sort of see how everything operates and the way that all of this is going to look. So, let's get right into things here. So for this, we are talking about Kottio Overview. And in order to contextualize this further, we need to understand that Kottio is going to have three core offerings. We have Kashout, we have Subsection, and we have the Kottio Cook Group. The Kottio Cook Group will be launching right around the first week of September. It's probably, like, hopefully we can get it launched before the end of the month, but the Kottio Cook Group has not yet launched, and that's what you need to know about this. So, let's get a little bit of spacing here, and let's do one of these. Give us a little bit of a separation. Just making the notes look nice because I'm going to be posting these notes in the video description and also in the chat when I'm done. So I want it to be formatted nice and pretty for y'all. Do that, and then this. And last but not least, do that. Okay, so let's start by talking about Kashout. Each of these groups has a very simple value proposition, a very simple offer that we're making to all of you. So Kottio Kashout buys all sneakers and streetwear items for full market value in cash. So we pay you in cash full market value for your sneakers and streetwear items in Kottio Kashout. Subsection sells hype sneakers and streetwear for prices greatly under market value. Right? And then the Kottio Cook Group will teach you how to make at least $5,000 a month through reselling. So these are the three core value propositions of Kottio. We are going to teach you how to make at a minimum $5,000 a month through reselling. We can sell you hype sneakers and streetwear for greatly under market value, and we'll also buy your sneakers and streetwear for full market value. So these are three separate groups, but they're all under one umbrella, which is Kottio. Does this make sense so far? Does this make sense so far? Yep. Okay, perfect. So, let's start off with the Kottio Cook Group because this is the easiest one, right? The goal here is to launch by the end of August and have a course-driven membership program by which we teach our members how to profitably resell sneakers and streetwear. We will accomplish this by teaching people how to cop pairs in store, online, and through botting and backdoors. So, essentially, in the Kottio Cook Group, you're going to learn all about how to source pairs and also what to do with them when you have them. So you guys here in the Kottio Lounge enjoyed a business fundamentals lecture where I talked about relationship-based reselling. You guys have kind of like seen the success from people in Kottio Kashout and Subsection, but for a lot of people coming into the Kottio organization, chances are they might not know anything about sneakers and streetwear. They might not know how to resell. They might have never done it before. They could be starting with extraordinarily low capital, right? For any of these kind of hesitations or concerns, the Kottio Cook Group is going to teach people how to address that. It's going to teach people specifically what to do in order to get started in reselling. And the great news is we're going to have a US version of the Kottio Cook Group, and we're going to have a UK version of the Kottio Cook Group, because obviously reselling markets are different everywhere. So people in the UK will have their own group, and people in the US will have their own group where they can learn, regardless of where they are in the world, exactly what they need to be able to do to make at least $5,000 a month through reselling. So this is where somebody is going to start off. This is where our customer starts off in the Kottio organization, is by learning how to resell through the Kottio Cook Group. Does this make sense? Okay. So from here, once somebody knows, once one of our customers knows how to resell, we offer two tools to them to be able to help them greatly with their reselling. We offer them Kashout and we offer them Subsection. And you can see that these are two halves of the same coin. In Subsection, you as the customer will be able to buy inventory for prices well under its market value. And in Kashout, you'll be able to sell your inventory for full market value in cash. So the way that this will likely work is that our customer will go from the Kottio Cook Group immediately into Subsection, right? And I should probably notate here that these are paid groups. These are paid groups. The Kottio Lounge is always free. You guys can always be in this group, and you get a little taste of everything when you're in this group. But the Kottio Cook Group will be $20 per month. Kashout is $10 per month. In Subsection is $100 per month. Okay, so for people that are interested in joining these groups, you'll be able to go this way. All right, so chances are people will go from the Kottio Cook Group and learning about this immediately into Subsection to be able to source their pairs, right? And this works very, very simply. In Subsection, here's the way that we kind of go about things. So step one is you purchase credit. In Subsection, the way that it works is you purchase any amount of credit that you like, and then you are able to fill out your member profile. So on your member profile, you'll give us your demographic information so that we can ship products to you, and you'll also tell us what products you're interested in, right? So in step number 3, we fulfill orders based on the products you're interested in at the prices you define. So in your Subsection member profile, you're going to tell me, hey, I'm interested in Nike Dunks and I'll only pay 80% at a max for market value. And when that's the case, we go through once a day and we check those member profiles and we make sure that we fulfill out based on what people want. So in Subsection, it's an ever-evolving marketplace because our members are deciding the types of products that we source. They might say, hey, we want Dunks. They might say, hey, we want Jordan 4s. They might say, we want Yeezy 350s. They might say, we want Spider hoodies. They might say, we want Essentials. And regardless of what it is that they're saying, it's our job in Subsection to make sure that we are sourcing the correct products for those customers at prices that make it worth it for those customers and at prices that they can make profits by reselling. So step number 1 is a Subsection member purchases credit. Step number 2 is they fill out their member profile. And step number 3 is we fulfill orders based on the products that they've identified. Does this kind of make sense, the way that Subsection works? Yep, super, super simple. And then in Kashout, very, very similarly, right? So step number 1 is you open a ticket in Kashout and identify the products you'll be sending to us. Step number 2 is they arrive at our warehouse and are inspected for quality and authenticity. Step number 3 is you get paid once they pass inspection. And it's just that simple. So, for somebody that uses all 3 groups, and I'm not trying to convince anybody that they should use all 3 groups, but for customers that use all 3, in the Kottio Cook group, they're going to learn how to resell sneakers. Then they can come to Subsection to buy sneakers, and then they can go to Kottio Kashout to sell those sneakers. And they could endlessly loop and create their own reselling business, all within these 3 groups, and be profitable despite the monthly memberships, which is a really terrific tool for resellers, right? This is a kind of all-inclusive package for resellers, where they will be able to just use these 3 things and make money through reselling without ever having to use anything else. So, a person could only be in Subsection and only get products from Subsection and then only sell those products to Kottio Kashout. If they wanted to, this is perfectly valid, and they would be able to operate an entire business within this model. And they'd be able to use the information that they learn in the Kottio Cook group to be able to assist them with that business. So this is a super powerful tool for resellers by being able to use all 3. Otherwise, if a member, for example, doesn't necessarily need a buyer for their products, they just need a supplier for their products, they might only join Subsection, right? Or if somebody needs to learn more about reselling, but they also need a place to sell their products, they might decide just to join the Kottio Cook group and Kashout. So the groups that a person joins is totally up to them, and it's very a la carte. They can decide whatever it is that they would like to join and wherever it is that they would like to be. So, does this make sense? Nobody needs to be in all 3 groups, but people can kind of pick and choose what works best for their business. Kind of make sense? Yep, nice. Very, very, very good. Okay, so this at a base level should make a lot of sense to you guys. But where I think a lot of people have question marks is that this model sounds too good to be true, right? Let's just be honest. If I own a group that sells you products for prices well under market, but also buys your products for market value, that sounds way too good to be true. There's no way a business could operate that way, right? With this sounding too good to be true, what I want to do in this lecture is I want to talk about exactly how we do it. I want to break this down for you guys, and I want to show you exactly how we make profit in this system and exactly what you can expect being a part of this system. So what I want to talk about is Kottio's financial overview, right? I want you guys to understand exactly how this works so that you can understand exactly how not only you will make money, but also how Kottio makes money. So this is where we're going to get into stuff that's going to be a little bit boring unless you're a business nerd, because it impacts you none. This has nothing to do with you guys, but I think by showing this to you guys, you all will feel a lot more confident in operating with Kottio because you'll be able to see exactly how we make money. Does this kind of make sense? Okay, so without further ado, excuse me, without further ado, let's get right into things here and let's talk about the exact way that Kottio works. So, with the way that Kottio works, we have 3 profit models built into Kottio. Number 1 is we have the sale of credit, right? We sell credit over in Subsection, and credit is also for sale in Kottio Kashout. The difference between Subsection credit and Kottio Kashout credit is that in Subsection, you buy credit with cash. In Kashout, you buy credit with either sneakers or streetwear. So, we make profit on the sale of credit, and we'll talk about how here in a moment, right? Step number 2, or profit model number 2, is that we make money off of monthly membership fees, right? So there's profit built into the monthly membership fees as well. You can see that people in the Kottio Cook group pay $20 a month, people in Kottio Kashout pay $10 a month, and people in Subsection pay $100 a month. This obviously produces some level of profit for us, and we'll talk about exactly how that profit breaks down here in a minute, but understand that that's one way that we make money. And then step number 3 is through portfolio-based reselling. So we also do our own reselling. We have our own reselling portfolios, and those portfolios allow us to make money as well. So does this make sense so far? And I'm going to break all of these down for you guys so that you can see exactly how it works. But does it make sense that we have these 3 profit models? Any questions so far? Cool beans. Okay. So let's start off with the most complicated one, which is the sale of credit here. And in fact, instead of doing 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to put separations in here. So give me 1 second to kind of format this correctly. I know I'm giving you guys some blue balls here by doing this, but hold on. Because this is going to be important for the notes so that you guys can bring these wherever you like. Okay, so let's just go here, boom. And then here, boom. And here, boom. Okay, so the sale of credit, monthly membership fees, and portfolio-based reselling. And let me just do one of these. Cool. All right, so in the sale of credit, here's how this works. We operate currently in chunks or blocks of $10,000. Okay? It is our goal to churn 20 chunks or blocks per month. So, what we operate in are essentially blocks of customer money. And those blocks are $10,000 a piece. It is our goal to see 20 of those blocks every single month. So basically, every business day, we want to be able to sell $10,000 worth of credit, right? So this is how each block works. We treat each block as one transaction, even though there might be several dozen or maybe even several hundred transactions that create one block. But this is how the block works. Step number 1 is that $10,000 comes in, and we immediately take 15% for our profits and operational budget. So, for example, you guys know that we have a warehouse, right? The rent in this warehouse is currently $10,000 a month. You guys know that we have a third-party logistics company, Dripship. Dripship obviously charges us to ship our goods and things like that. You guys also know that we have staff here. We have people that work here that handle shipments, that handle inspections. You guys have seen Sir Cops a lot handling those orders. And obviously, labor is not free either. So, when this $10,000 comes in, we immediately take 15% for our profits and operational budget. This leaves us with a remaining balance of $8,500 in the block. Does this make sense so far? Step number 2 is we use that $8,500 to purchase at least $10,000 worth of inventory. And when I say worth, what I mean here is sales price. So, you guys know that in Subsection, we sell products at prices greatly under their market value. Okay? So, let's talk about a shoe like, let's say for example, like a Air Force, like an Air Force One Low. And this is just strictly speaking an example. This is not an actual product that we use in Subsection. But to give you an example, let's talk about the Nike Air Force One Low in triple white. This shoe is worth basically $100 at market value. Okay? Market value, the shoe's worth $100. So chances are, in Subsection, we would sell it for something like $60 or $70. Okay? So let's say that through one of our suppliers, we have the ability to get these shoes at $50 a piece, right? So we're going to sell them to Subsection members at $70, right? And we're paying $50 a piece. So if in this chunk, we wanted to be able to get $10,000 worth of inventory, we're going to take 70, or we're going to take that 10,000 and we're going to divide it by $70 per pair. That means that we would need 143 pairs. 143 pairs times $50 a pair would mean that we would need to spend $7,150 in order to get $10,000 worth of inventory at its sales price. Does this make sense? I know that that was a little bit complicated, but I'll run through it one more time. So we have $8,500, and then we need to be able to get $10,000 worth of sales price inventory. So for example, let's say Air Force One lows. Shoe maybe has a market value of around $100. Let's say we're going to sell it to Subsection members at $70 a piece. We take our $10,000 goal, we divide this by $70 for each shoe. That means we're going to need 143 pairs. 143 pairs, let's say we pay $50 a pair to get those shoes in, means that we need to pay $7,150 in order to buy at a minimum $10,000 worth of inventory. Does this make sense? Yes, perfect. Okay, step number 3 is we split the remaining money in half. 4 is we use half of the money to buy products from Kottio Kashout. And step number 5 is we use the other half of the money to feed our own reselling portfolios. And that's how the sale of credit makes us money. So here's the thing. When we take in products from Kottio Kashout, we lose money. This is a loss leader. Any products that are sent into us from Kottio Kashout are products that we lose money on. So I'll give you guys an example. Dan in chat, Isaac Bonga, is currently sending me one of my own pairs of Tiffany's back. He's sending those back to the warehouse, right? He got these in Subsection for under market value. I'm going to pay him out in cash at full market value. So I am going to lose money on that. The way that he gets paid is from step 4 here. So as we sell these blocks of credit and we go out and we buy product, there's money remaining. Half of that money is used to pay people like Dan. The other half of that money is used to add products into our own portfolios. So this is the way that this specific example would work. Let's say that we're talking about, and I'll use a different product here. Let's say we're talking about Essentials hoodies, okay? Let's say Essentials hoodies have a market value of $100, but we can source them for $25, right? So we're going to sell these to Subsection members for $50 a piece, okay? So I need to get $10,000 from my step 2 here, right? So from step 2, I need to reach $10,000 worth of inventory. I'll divide this by $25 a hoodie, I'll divide this by $50 a hoodie, because that's what I'm going to sell them for, and I need exactly 200 hoodies. If I need to buy 200 hoodies and they cost me $25 a unit, that means that I need to spend $5,000. So I had $8,500 worth of customer money left in this chunk. I spent $5,000. Now I'm left with $3,500, right? So step 3 is we split this money in half. Okay, $3,500 divided by 2 is $1,750. This means that from this block, there's $1,750 that will be paid out to people who sent stuff in from Kottio Kashout, and then there's $1,750 that will go into our own reselling portfolios, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Does this make sense to you guys? So is Subsection the breadwinner here? I know it seems that way because we're just talking about the sale of credit right now, but when we sell credit, yes, Subsection is the breadwinner. But we still have 2 other profit models built into the business, right? So as we talk about those, you'll see that Subsection isn't the sole breadwinner of the company. It's actually the portfolio-based reselling that ends up being the sole breadwinner. But this sale of credit, this is how Kottio makes money off of this. Okay, so with it being our goal to churn 20 chunks a month, This means that we would take out $30,000 in profit every month because we're immediately taking 15% on every block, right? So if we take $1,500 20 times, that's $30,000, right? The reason that that's our goal is because that is essentially the overhead for our business. That's essentially the overhead for our business. So we pay $10,000 in rent. That's a third of the money gone immediately. We pay around $10,000 a month to drip ship for all the shipping stuff. So that's the 2/3. And then staff pay is the other $10,000 a month. So that's why it's our goal to churn 20 chunks a month at a 15% profit margin. Dan asks a really great question. Why buy Kashout products if you could make more money selling to Kashout members? So Dan, this question is best answered with another question, and it'll make you feel a little bit silly, but I promise it was a good question, right? So I'm going to actually put this in our notes here. Question: why buy products from Kashout members if they incur a loss? Why do it, right? To answer this, I'll ask you a question. Why does McDonald's sell burgers when soft drinks are way more profitable? Why would McDonald's ever sell a cheeseburger when the markup there is like 1%, but the markup on Coca-Cola is like 5,000%? Burgers bring people in. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And it's the same thing with our business, right? The products from Kottio Kashout allow us a much greater variety, and that keeps people coming in. Where the stuff that we can supply is fairly limited, right? It might be the case that our suppliers can get mostly anything, but the stuff that we can do on our own is fairly limited. When we buy products from Kottio Kashout members, it means we have a huge selection. We have a ton of different products. And this means that anybody in Subsection who's looking for any particular items, right? Remember, they get to tell us what they're looking for. Chances are we have it because somebody in Kottio Kashout sent it in. This delivers a much better customer experience, and it keeps people coming back. And when people come back, chances are they're also going to pick up one of those profitable products that we got in step 2 down here. Does this make sense? So that variety has a lot of value to the business, right? Whenever people have a big variety of products that they can choose from, it keeps them coming back, right? So the answer here is variety and selection keeps the customer coming back. Okay. Any other questions about that? So it's kind of the question of, would you rather make $40 from 100 people or $2 from a million people? Right? You'd rather make the $2 from a million people, even if that means sometimes you're losing money. Okay. So, on the sale of credit, step number 1, that $10,000 chunk comes in. We immediately take out our 15%. Step number 2, we use the remainder to purchase at least $10,000 worth of inventory. Step number 3 is we split the remaining money in half. Step number 4 is we use the first half to buy products from Kottio Kashout. And step number 5 is we use the other half of the money to feed our own reselling portfolios. Any questions about this? Any questions about how the sale of credit works across the Kottio organization? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. Very, very cool. What's an example of your other reselling portfolio? We'll get into this in this section. But first, let's talk about monthly membership fees, right? This is really, really simple to understand. And when I start to explain this, I think it's going to be an aha moment for a lot of you guys, right? So we have a bunch of different groups here. We have Subsection, we have Kashout, we have the Kottio Cook Group, and we're also going to have Rockstar Recycling, right? We're going to have Cyber Section, we're going to have Lux Section, and we have like the Kottio Lounge, right? All of this. So all of these groups, with the exception of the Kottio Lounge here, incur a monthly membership fee. Who can tell me what the monthly membership fee for Subsection is? $100 a month. Very, very good. And how many shipments do you think a buyer is getting in Subsection over the course of a month? How many shipments do you think they're getting over the course of a month? 2 to 3? Let's say at best capacity, chances are they're getting around 4 shipments a month, 1 a week, right? So they buy credit, that gets fulfilled, it gets shipped out that week, it gets delivered, they resell it, and then they buy more credit, right? So maybe 4 a month, right? How much is it going to cost me on average to send a box of stuff out to people? About 25 bucks, right? About 25 bucks. That's after I pay for the box, the labor, the shipping label, etc. So if you're getting 4 shipments a month, right? 4 shipments a month at around $25 a shipment, then that means it's 100 bucks every single month. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. So, if there are 4 shipments and it costs me around $25 a shipment, then that would be around 100 bucks a month, right? It'd be around 100 bucks a month. Now, let me ask you a question here. In Kottio Kashout, are we shipping stuff out to members? In Kottio Kashout, are we shipping stuff out to members? Maybe, kinda, sorta, but the point of Kottio Kashout is that they send stuff into us, right? So who's paying the shipping costs there? It's the customer, right? We aren't paying the shipping costs. That's why the group is so much cheaper, right? But we still need to have people like Shady to answer tickets. We still need to have staff to keep the system going. And if that staff costs on average $10,000 a month, which is currently our kind of like staff budget there, right? If that costs around $10,000 a month and our goal is to get it to 1,000 members across all the groups, $10,000 a month divided by 1,000 members would be $10 a month, right? So what we can see here is that the point of these monthly membership fees are not to incur profits, right? The point of our monthly membership fees are to cover our overhead expenses. Anything above 1,000 members will produce profits. At 1,000 members, we'll break even. Below 1,000 members, we'll lose money. Right? And that's the honest truth. Below 1,000 members in one of these groups, we lose a little bit of money because the sample size isn't large enough to cover the costs of doing business. But at 1,000 members, we would produce profit. Yay us. And at over 1,000 members, we would, at 1,000 members, we would break even. And at over 1,000 members, we would produce profits. Is 1K plus too much volume? For Subsection, yes. For Kottio Kashout, no. For the Kottio Cook group, no. And for these other groups, no. But for Subsection, yes. Over 1,000 members would be too many. That's why Subsection is limited to 1,000 members. And the other groups do not have member limits. So does this kind of make sense? So all of these groups come with a monthly membership fee. And over time, as our audience becomes larger, we will produce profits from monthly membership fees. But that's not the point of them. The point of them is to cover the cost of doing business. The sale of credit produces us profit, and our portfolio-based reselling will produce us profit. But this monthly membership fee is to allow us to break even. Does this kind of make sense? Any questions about the monthly membership fees? Doesn't seem like it? Awesome. So finally, we have portfolio-based reselling. And this is super, super simple. right? We sell the products that we sell, right? So whenever I'm talking to you guys about, let's say, for example, the Cacao Wow Dunks that are coming in for Subsection, I'm selling them to you guys at under market value. I am also selling those same dunks in our own reselling portfolios. I don't sell products to you guys that I would not sell myself. When I try to convince you guys to buy Bravest, it's because I'm having a lot of luck selling Bravest. When I try to convince you guys to buy Essentials, it's because I'm having a lot of luck selling Essentials. When I try to sell you guys Dunks, it's because I'm having luck selling Dunks. We sell the products that we recommend to all of you to make sure that we have the experience of reselling them ourselves. That's why I'm able to say with so much confidence, hey, this item passes 100% of the time on StockX, eBay, and Alias, because I've sold them on StockX, eBay, and Alias. I've seen it myself. I think the problem with a lot of these backdoor groups is they use backdooring as a way so that they don't have to resell anymore. And I think that that's a major issue because it distances somebody from their own products. And then you end up with people like Kenny was that said, oh, it's super easy to sell early pairs for $10,000 a pair, right? He didn't have the experience of trying to do it himself before bringing it to his customer. So in his mind, it was easy. Whereas we have the experience ourselves before we bring them to you guys to make sure that we know how easy or hard it is, to make sure that we can give you guys the best examples possible. So what we do is some of the money that comes in from the sale of credit will lead into our own portfolios and we'll grow that. And in these portfolios, we have an investment and divestment cycle. So this is the way that it looks. Step number one is we start each portfolio off with a few $1,000s in excess inventory. Right? This is just kind of extra stuff laying around. So we take that extra stuff and we start off a portfolio. Right? So we start off there. Step number two is we sell that inventory. Step number three, use the money to buy under market inventory. So in the case that we talked about earlier, that would be like we buy personals for the Air Forces or for the Essentials hoodies. Right? Step number four is we sell those products for market value on various platforms. Platforms to stores and individual buyers. Step number five is we take that money and split the profit in half. Step number six is we take half the profit for ourselves. And step number seven is the other half is reinvested into the portfolio so that it grows bigger. Right? So let's say we started off with $5,000 in a portfolio. We take that $5,000 and we're going to buy Essentials hoodies, let's say like the other example, at $25 a piece. That means we buy 200 hoodies. We now go out and we sell these hoodies over time. And let's say we sell those hoodies and our average payout is $82 a piece. So we turned our $5,000 into $16,400. If I subtract my $5,000 cost of doing business, that means that I had $11,400 in profit. I divide this by 2, and that means that I'm reinvesting $5,700 and I'm taking out $5,700. So add my original $5,000 back into the mix. Now I have $10,000 or $10,700 to play with. Buy more Essentials hoodies. $25, right, is 428 hoodies. Sell these for a payout of $82. That means now the portfolio is at $35,096, right? Subtract my cost of doing business, which was the $10,000, $10,700. This leaves us with $24,396 in profit. Divide that by 2. $12,000 gets reinvested back into the portfolio. $12,000 gets paid out to us. Add back in our cost of doing business here, which was our $10,700. And now the portfolio is at $22,000 worth of Essentials hoodies. You see what I mean? And so now we would divide this by 25 again, right? And the portfolio keeps rising in value every single time. Every single time. How quickly do you sell all this inventory? It depends on the product. It depends on the product and it depends on how much cash is there. Obviously, if you have big portfolios, it takes a while to sell through all the stuff if you're trying to do it all in one SKU. But when you diversify across a ton of different products, it makes it a little bit easier. So when we do these portfolios, we don't just do essentials, hoodies, or Air Forces. We'll do every SKU of essentials. We'll do every kind of Air Force. We'll do every kind of Dunk. We'll do every kind of Jordan. We'll do everything that we can to make sure that there's a ton of diversification to ensure that stuff sells as quickly as possible. Obviously, it's kind of an index of the market. If the sneaker market is currently reselling very fast, it means that we sell very fast. If it's currently reselling very slow, it means that we sell really slow. What we've seen through our own portfolios is that we are able to consistently see a 22.5% return on a 10-day period, right? Now, that's obviously very, very, very good, right? And that could not be extrapolated across millions and millions of dollars, but in small portfolios, we're able to see this. So what we do is we run a lot of small portfolios instead of running one large portfolio. It's our belief that by running these small portfolios, all with separate StockX, eBay, Mercari accounts, that we're able to then get those returns a lot faster. And when we do that a lot faster, it allows us to be a lot more efficient, right? So it allows us also to make sure that our NFT folks get paid out pretty expeditiously. So the people that buy NFTs, they obviously are expecting profits coming in, and these reselling portfolios are really what has been driving the business as we've been modifying Subsection and Kottio Kashout. This money, if not for this money, Kottio would be dead. This is the breadwinner of Kottio, is these portfolio-based reselling, right? This stuff eventually will be. This will catch up, but for right now, this is our bread and butter. This is how we're making money. Does that kind of make sense? And that's the entire overview of the way that Kottio works. So we make money three ways. We make money off of the sale of credit, we make money off of the monthly membership fees eventually, and we make money off of our portfolio-based reselling. So all of this kind of makes sense to you guys? And so that's the back end of our business. The front end of it is just these three value propositions, and it seems so simple and so nice, right? Where, oh, okay, I can come to Kottio Kashout, they'll buy my sneakers and streetwear for full market value. I can come to Subsection, I can buy those products for under market value, and I can come to the Kottio Cook Group to learn how to put everything together and make $5,000 a month. On the front end, it looks very simple and it sounds too good to be true. But now that you understand the back end, does it make sense why we do each one of these things? We do this so that we can move hella volume. When we move hella volume, we get really cheap prices, right? We do this so that we have tons of variety. When we have tons of variety, it brings in hella volume. And we do this so that we can teach people the skills that we've learned and be able to charge them a monthly membership fee in exchange, right? This turns big payouts of money into just money over time. It basically takes that huge chunk of cash that we would normally be getting, and it turns it into payouts over time by just teaching people how to run these portfolios themselves. So 3 groups, 3 different profit models, and now understanding the back end, it should hopefully make sense how these 3 groups work and how Kottio is able to produce a profit and why it might not be too good to be true. Okay,